The sun rose slowly over the African savanna, casting a golden hue across the expansive landscape. The horizon stretched endlessly, dotted with acacia trees that reached for the sky like outstretched fingers. This was a world where nature thrived, and the air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling grasses. It was here, in this beautiful setting, that our story began. As the Jeep rumbled down a dusty road, the driver took a moment to enjoy the view. He had always been captivated by the vastness of the savanna. The grassland swayed gracefully in the gentle breeze, giving off an earthy scent mixed with wildflowers blooming in vibrant colors. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. In every direction, life teemed. A herd of zebras grazed nearby, their black and white stripes contrasting sharply against the greenery. Not far off, a group of elephants marched majestically, their massive bodies casting long shadows as they moved gracefully across the land. The driver loved these moments, where he could simply sit back and admire nature's splendor. He felt lucky to witness such beauty firsthand. The open sky above was a brilliant blue, and fluffy clouds floated lazily by, adding to the serene atmosphere. In this tranquil environment, he felt at peace. Suddenly, his attention shifted as he spotted movement on the edge of his vision. He squinted into the distance and saw something small and dark darting through the tall grass. His heart raced with excitement. In this part of Africa, surprises were always waiting around every corner. As he drove closer, he recognized that it was an elephant calf, small, curious, and full of energy. The calf emerged from behind a bush, wide-eyed and inquisitive. Its skin was a dusty gray, with patches of mud clinging to its sides from playtime in a nearby watering hole. The driver's heart melted at the sight. He had always found baby animals endearing. The little one seemed unsure at first, but quickly found its courage and took a few brave steps forward toward the Jeep. As if sensing a friend in this noisy machine, the calf started trotting after the Jeep as it moved forward. The driver chuckled softly to himself. He had seen elephants before, but never had one shown such interest in him. He glanced back at the calf's joyful antics, a flapping trunk in sheer delight and floppy ears bouncing with each step. "Where are you going?" he wondered aloud, amused by how closely the little creature pursued him. It was as if it had decided that following this strange vehicle would be an exciting adventure worth embarking upon. The Jeep bounced along the uneven path that wound through this beautiful land. While lush greenery surrounded them on all sides, it soon seemed like only they existed in this moment. The lonely driver, his new young friend. The calf kept up effortlessly, occasionally running to catch up when it fell behind or playing with fallen leaves along the way. The driver couldn't help but feel a connection forming between them. Watching as this brave little soul kept pace with his vehicle brought him so much joy that he almost forgot where he was headed. His laughter filled the air whenever he glanced into his rearview mirror to catch sight of those big, curious eyes staring back at him. As they traveled further into the savanna, the scenery began to shift subtly. The lush grasses gradually gave way to more open plains dotted with patches of dry earth and clusters of thorny shrubs. Golden light cast long shadows across this natural canvas as evening approached. The changing colors painted a breathtaking picture. Purples and oranges blended beautifully into one another. Small herds of impalas leapt gracefully in the distance, while birds called out overhead, celebrating another day in their wild paradise. Each turn brought new sights, perhaps a towering baobab tree or a family of warthogs snuffling about nearby. This was truly nature, at its most vibrant. Yet all this beauty felt intensified by the little elephant's presence. It danced alongside him like an eager child exploring an enchanted land full of wonders waiting to be discovered. It was hard not to smile at how infectious its enthusiasm was. The simple joys shared in those moments made everything feel more alive. With every mile they traveled together through this magnificent terrain, something deeper began to stir within him. A realization that these connections mattered just as much as scenery and adventure did. Little did he know how important this bond would soon become, and what revelations awaited them both on their journey ahead. As twilight approached and stars began to twinkle overhead like diamonds scattered across velvet fabric, an unspoken understanding grew between man and animal. A reminder that life's greatest stories often unfold when we least expect them to, amidst nature's brilliant embrace. The driver, named Mark, was a true adventurer at heart. He had always been drawn to nature, spending countless hours exploring the wilds of Africa. With a rugged smile and a sun-kissed face, he embodied the spirit of wanderlust. He believed that life was an incredible journey meant to be savored, especially when surrounded by the beauty of the natural world. Mark worked as a wildlife photographer and often took his trusty Jeep deep into national parks in search of breathtaking images. Capturing the perfect shot of an elegant antelope leaping gracefully or a pride of lions basking in the sun fueled his passion. He spent days wandering through the savannah, with an eye always on the lookout for unique angles, extraordinary scenes, and candid moments of wildlife in action. His camera hung around his neck like a trusted companion. On that particular morning, as he drove into the heart of the savannah, excitement bubbled within him. Each twist and turn of the dirt road promised new wonders, and Mark felt an eagerness to witness whatever astonishing sights might unfold before him. He loved being behind the wheel, feeling the gentle vibrations of the Jeep against the terrain and listening to the sounds of nature. With the windows rolled down, the warm breeze ruffled his hair while he inhaled the fresh, earthy air. It was an intoxicating mix of grass, wildflowers, and musty soil, a scent that made him feel alive. As he drove, he glanced at every shadow and every movement around him, alert for the chance to capture a magical moment with his camera. Mark had learned to appreciate every moment spent in nature. He understood that sometimes beauty appeared in the most unexpected ways. He didn't mind if a day went without capturing what others would call spectacular. Each quiet moment with a herd of elephants or a chorus of baboons could tell its own beautiful story. This appreciation came from years of experience. Today, however, felt different. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, almost as if nature itself sensed that something significant was about to happen. Perhaps it was the orange glow of the early morning sun or the cheerful chorus of birds singing in the distance. But Mark couldn't shake off a feeling of anticipation as he navigated through the dazzling landscape. As he drove deeper into the savannah, he reminisced about his past adventures, safaris filled with breathtaking sights and unforgettable encounters. His heart warmed at memories of having come face to face with wild creatures, gazelles bounding across the plains, lions roaring fiercely under the scorching sun, and cheetahs dashing swiftly like arrows. Every trip felt like returning home to his true self. But today, something stirred within him that felt even more special than usual. It was as if nature was ready to share yet another secret adventure with him. Suddenly, his attention sharpened. It was then he saw it. A little elephant calf peeking through tall grass, their eyes locking for a brief moment as time seemed to stand still. The calf's curiosity matched his own. It stepped out carefully, its tiny feet leaving impressions in the soft earth. Mark grinned widely, recognizing this encounter as more than just a delightful surprise. It was an opportunity to connect with one of nature's youngest wonders. As he continued driving slowly alongside the calf, he felt overwhelmed by a sense of purpose. Instead of racing ahead on his usual photographic pursuits, it dawned on him that this moment invited him to engage authentically with another creature on this beautiful planet. Mark had spent years capturing wild images from afar, but now sensed the connection required more than just observation. It asked for participation. The calf pranced after his jeep without hesitation. It was joyous and naive, delighting in every bump and turn as they ventured through the vast landscape together. Mark chuckled softly at how innocent yet brave this little creature was. A reminder that life thrived in its simplest form when curiosity took over. With each passing moment, their bond grew stronger as they shared smiles across that small distance. Mark decided right then and there that today would not just be about pictures. It would be about understanding this playful spirit and honoring its journey alongside him. To delve deeper into this connection felt more rewarding than simply snapping a sequence of photographs. Little did he realize how significant this day would become, or how profoundly it would change his understanding of nature and its inhabitants. What began as an ordinary drive in search of beautiful sights transformed into an extraordinary adventure filled with endless possibilities. The universe had set him on a path for discovery, led by an elephant calf whose intentions were about to unfold in wonderfully surprising ways. As they continued through the golden grasses, illuminated by sunlight and framed by encroaching shadows, Mark couldn't help but feel excitement bubbling within him, anticipating what life lessons lay ahead alongside his new friend. This journey would reveal truths hidden beneath layers of experiences, a chance to witness life unfolding in its purest form amidst magnificent backdrop all around them. As Mark continued to navigate through the beautiful savanna, the landscape around him began to shift, revealing an open area dotted with patches of wildflowers. The sun hung high in the sky, casting its warm light over the golden grasses that swayed gently in the breeze. It was a perfect day for exploration, and Mark relished every moment. The jeep bounced lightly on the uneven terrain, and he kept his camera poised, ready for any unexpected sights. Birds flitted about overhead, their colors vibrant against the blue sky, while a distant herd of zebras grazed peacefully nearby. He smiled at the sight of them, but something deep inside him stirred as if nature was preparing to unveil a special surprise. And then it happened. A fleeting movement caught his eye. Mark squinted and directed his gaze toward a thicket of bushes on the side of the road. At first, he thought it could be just another trick of light or perhaps a shadow from one of the trees. But then he saw it clearly. A little elephant calf peeking out from behind the foliage. His heart raced with excitement as he slowed down his jeep, taking a moment to fully absorb this unexpected encounter. The calf's large, expressive eyes were fixed on him with curiosity and wonder, as if trying to determine whether this unusual machine was friend or foe. Mark felt an overwhelming sense of joy wash over him. This was not just any animal sighting. It was something truly special. The calf emerged cautiously from behind the bushes, its small body swaying slightly as it stepped into the open. Its skin was a dusty gray color with patches of mud, still clinging to it from its recent playtime in a nearby watering hole. The sight tugged at Mark's heartstrings. There was something undeniably endearing about this young creature, exploring its surroundings with innocent curiosity. Mark couldn't help but chuckle softly at how adorable and brave the calf seemed. It took tentative steps forward, each footfall leaving gentle impressions in the soft earth beneath it. As it moved closer to his jeep, Mark noticed how its floppy ears flapped slightly with each step. a delightful dance that only added to its charm. "Hey there, little one," Mark whispered to himself, captivated by this enchanting moment unfolding before him. The calf paused just a few feet away, tilting its head as it studied Mark with wide eyes that sparkled like gems in the sunlight. In that brief instant, time appeared to slow down. The world around him faded away as he found himself lost in this connection forged between man and animal. Here was an opportunity to witness nature's beauty up close, something he had always sought through his lens, but rarely felt so personally. Feeling emboldened by this encounter, Mark reached for his camera but hesitated for a moment. Instead of snapping pictures right away, he wanted to relish this moment without interruption. He smiled warmly at the calf and lowered himself closer to its level so it could see him better without feeling threatened. The calf seemed intrigued by Mark's presence and started moving closer once more. It raised its trunk inquisitively, sniffing at the air as if trying to catch his scent or perhaps identify what this strange vehicle was doing here. Their eyes met again, a shared understanding passing between them, an unspoken bond born from curiosity and wonderment. In those precious moments together under the vast African sky, Mark felt an awakening within himself, a reminder that life thrived in these genuine connections with nature's creatures. He took a deep breath filled with earthy scents and let himself revel in the experience unfolding before him, as if sensing that they were becoming friends rather than strangers. The calf pranced joyfully around the jeep, while occasionally glancing back at Mark as though inviting him to join in its playful exploration of this vast wilderness. It bounded along playfully across patches of grass and danced around wildflowers, swaying gently in response to their movements. Mark's laughter echoed through the savannah as he watched this tiny being embrace life so wholeheartedly. It reminded him that sometimes joy came from simply being present in nature's embrace, rather than chasing after snapshots alone. Finally pulling out his camera after all those moments filled with laughter and joy shared between them, the driver captured glimpses of their connection without losing sight of what mattered most, appreciating life itself beyond lenses or photographs. This was an adventure like no other. The little elephant calf continued frolicking around him while still checking back frequently. Each interaction deepened their bond even further, a delightful dance through moments filled with enchantment where every glance held potential for discovery ahead. Mark realized that today would not just be another day spent searching for wildlife photos. Instead, it transformed into an extraordinary journey alongside this playful spirit and an invitation from nature itself. A chance to learn something profound about connection amidst breathtaking landscapes they would share together, moving forward into what awaited them ahead. As Mark marveled at the elephant calf's playful nature, he noticed something intriguing happening. The little calf, sensing an unmistakable bond forming between them, began to trot after the jeep as it moved slowly along the winding dirt road. With its small legs moving eagerly and its trunk swinging playfully, the calf seemed determined to keep up with this strange vehicle that had captured its attention. Mark chuckled softly as he watched the calf chase after him, its floppy ears bouncing with every joyful step. It was a delightful sight, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at how easily this young elephant had decided to follow him. Still, a flicker of concern crossed Mark's mind. Why was this baby elephant following him? Was it lost or simply seeking companionship? He slowed the jeep even further, allowing the little one to catch up more easily. The calf squeaked softly, clearly thrilled to be on this adventure. As it reached his side, it paused for a moment, tilting its head towards him as if seeking reassurance. Mark smiled brightly, returning that look with warmth and encouragement. The vast savanna around them buzzed with life. The rustling of grasses and distant calls of wildlife filled the air. But all of Mark's attention was focused on this little creature. As the jeep continued down the path, he glanced back frequently to see the calf bouncing behind him like an eager puppy, filled with innocent excitement. Yet with each glance backward came another wave of concern. Mark knew that elephants were social animals who relied heavily on their families for guidance and protection. Where could the calf's mother be? Was it safe out here alone? The thought gnawed at him as they traveled deeper into the savanna. He decided to steer clear of busy areas where other animals might be present. Perhaps that way he could keep an eye out for any signs of adult elephants nearby. It would not do to lead this young one too far away from its family. He felt a protective instinct for this tiny creature that had so boldly chosen to accompany him. As they wandered further along, patches of wildflowers burst into bloom alongside their path, brightening the already stunning scenery. The sun cast a warm glow over everything, a kaleidoscope of colors dancing in harmony with nature's rhythm. But despite this beauty surrounding them, Mark's thoughts remained fixated on the calf, following closely behind. At times, he would stop completely and observe how the calf played in delight whenever he paused. It would chase butterflies fluttering nearby or splash through mud puddles left by recent rains. A joyous trumpet would escape from its trunk each time it found something amusing, a sound so pure and filled with happiness that it made Mark laugh aloud. But his heart still held concern. He wanted so desperately to ensure that this little one was all right and would find its way back home soon enough. Each time they stopped for a moment to enjoy nature's gifts together or share laughter over an amusing encounter, Mark felt a growing attachment, a bond that felt undeniable, yet also tinged with worry. Before long, however, another thought began to blossom in his mind. Perhaps this little elephant needed him just as much as he needed it. This shared journey offered them both an opportunity to learn from one another while exploring their world together. He saw glimpses of trust reflected in those big eyes, watching him closely. There was innocence and curiosity mingling within them that paralleled his own longing for discovery. Lost in thought about their connection and shared experiences unfolding before him. The jeep rolled along steadily when suddenly Mark noticed movement on the horizon ahead. A small group of elephants meandering peacefully toward a distant watering hole. His heart raced at this realization. Perhaps these elephants were part of the same family as his young companion. There was hope. Maybe he could reunite them. Feeling a rush of excitement mixed with determination coursing through him, he gently stepped on the accelerator pedal while keeping one eye trained on his newfound friend trailing close behind. "Come on," he encouraged cheerfully. "Let's see if we can find your family." The little calf responded instantly, bounding forward energetically now, as if sensing change in their adventure's direction. It trumpeted joyfully at the prospect ahead. Mark felt invigorated by renewed purpose, while navigating toward those majestic figures moving gracefully across golden grasses shining brightly beneath sunlight. With every twist and turn of his path further into wilderness, Mark realized that amid fears resided potential for discovery beyond what either creature initially sought. Connections formed through shared experiences transcending species altogether. Their journey might just lead not only back home, but deeper into understanding nature's beauty woven intricately between man and animal alike. A chance at friendship blossoming amidst breathtaking landscapes, overflowing with possibilities yet unseen. As Mark continued to drive along the winding path, he couldn't help but chuckle at the antics of the little elephant calf that had chosen to follow him. Each time he glanced back, he was greeted with a scene that warmed his heart and brought a smile to his face. The calf, filled with playful energy, seemed determined to match Mark's pace, and its antics made for an entertaining journey. At one point, as the jeep hit a bump in the road, the calf stumbled slightly. Its feet kicked up dust as it momentarily lost its balance, causing Mark to burst out laughing. The calf quickly regained its footing, shaking its head as if to say, "I meant to do that." It looked up at Mark with those big, innocent eyes, seemingly unfazed by its small misstep. That moment of clumsiness only deepened the affection Mark felt for this spirited creature. As they traveled further, the calf began to playfully chase butterflies that darted through the air like tiny jewels dancing in the sunlight. Each time it lunged for one of the fluttering insects, it would end up tripping over its own feet and tumbling into a patch of soft grass. Mark watched this unfold in delight, chuckling at how determined the little one was to catch those elusive butterflies. Every time it fell, the calf would pop back up with renewed vigor, ready to launch itself after another colorful target. "Don't worry, buddy, they're too fast for you," Mark called out playfully, enjoying the light-hearted spirit of their adventure together. The calf looked at him as if understanding every word, tilting its head and letting out a tiny trumpet as if to say, "I'll get them next time." Mark couldn't help but admire its relentless determination. As they made their way through stretches of tall grass dotted with wildflowers, Mark noticed how the calf would occasionally stop to investigate interesting sights. It would sniff at the flowers, nudging them with its trunk before bouncing away in excitement. One moment, it was busy observing a group of ants marching diligently along a trail. The next, it was trying to mimic some birds hopping from branch to branch in nearby trees. Mark laughed again when he saw the calf attempting to mimic the birds, lifting its trunk and flapping its ears as if they were wings. It leapt forward with enthusiasm, but landed quite awkwardly on a patch of uneven ground. The little elephant tumbled once more, but popped back up immediately, shaking off the dirt and looking as proud as ever. "You're quite the performer," Mark exclaimed, feeling a wave of joy wash over him. Every so often, the calf would trot beside the jeep, keeping pace effortlessly even as Mark navigated through rough patches of terrain. But just when Mark thought it couldn't get any cuter, the calf would suddenly stop and turn around, giving him a playful ear flop or a silly face, a gesture that was both amusing and endearing. One delightful incident occurred when a sudden gust of wind swept across the savanna. It sent leaves swirling around them like confetti. The calf froze for a moment before springing into action, jumping around in circles trying to catch the swirling leaves with its trunk. Mark's laughter rang out across the plains as he watched this delightful scene unfold before him. It felt like nature itself was putting on a show. In between moments of laughter and joy came moments where Mark felt that deep connection growing even stronger. Watching this little creature express pure happiness brought about a sense of warmth within him. The calf's playful behavior became infectious. He found himself smiling more and more as they continued their journey together. As they passed by a sparkling watering hole nestled among acacia trees, Mark slowed the jeep down again. The little calf rushed toward the water eagerly, splashing joyfully as it drank from the cool surface. With each sip taken, it would lift its head and blow water out through its trunk like a fountain, a spectacle that left Mark in stitches. "You're quite the entertainer," he remarked with a grin. The warmth they shared radiated around them. It was clear their journey had become something magical. Each clumsy stumble or playful moment sprinkled joy into what could have been just another day in his explorations. Instead, This adventure had morphed into an unforgettable experience filled with laughter and connection. As they finally began to make their way toward where Mark had seen those distant elephants earlier, he felt a mix of anticipation and gratitude for this wonderfully chaotic ride alongside such an adorable companion. Every amusing twist and turn had shaped not just his day, but also deepened his appreciation for life's simple yet extraordinary moments shared between man and animal alike. With excitement brewing within him and laughter still dancing in their wake, Mark looked ahead at what lay before them, ready to embrace whatever new discoveries awaited them both on this remarkable journey together. As Mark continued to drive through the sun-drenched savanna, his thoughts drifted toward the intriguing behavior of elephants, particularly their family dynamics. He had always admired these majestic creatures, but this close encounter with the playful calf sparked deeper curiosity about their social structures and bonds. Elephants are known for their strong familial ties. In the wild, they live in matriarchal herds, led by an older, experienced female. These herds typically consist of mothers, daughters, aunts, and their young, all tightly intertwined in a network of support and communication. This structure is vital for survival, as the matriarch guides her family to food, water sources, and safe resting spots, often relying on wisdom passed down through generations. As he drove on, Mark recalled reading about how young elephants exhibit playful behavior and curiosity toward other animals and even humans. In many cases, calves are encouraged to explore their environment as part of their learning process. They observe adult elephants and mimic their actions, picking up essential skills for survival along the way. Yet sometimes, when separated from their families, they may seek comfort in unfamiliar faces or vehicles, mistaking them for friendly figures. The sight of the elephant calf following his jeep became clearer now. It was likely a result of both curiosity and loneliness. Mark remembered how the calf had initially emerged from behind the bushes with wide eyes. Perhaps it had lost track of its family while playing or exploring. The allure of a moving vehicle could resemble the herd's protective presence, leading it to seek companionship in Mark's jeep instead. Mark felt a pang of sympathy for the little calf as he contemplated its predicament. Young elephants are known for their playful spirits and natural curiosity, traits that often draw them toward humans or other animals they encounter. When they find themselves alone or confused, seeking out something familiar or comforting becomes instinctive. In a way, the calf's pursuit of his jeep was not merely an act of folly. It was a longing for connection during a moment of uncertainty. As he navigated through turning paths alongside patches of wildflowers swaying in the gentle breeze, Mark reflected on how the calf's antics mirrored those of young children exploring their surroundings with innocent enthusiasm. Just as children might chase after a colorful balloon or seek out friendly faces at a playground, this little elephant had chosen to chase after his jeep with sheer delight. However, Mark also understood that while this playful behavior was charming, it came with serious implications. Being separated from its herd posed risks for the calf. Without the guidance of adults who know where to find food and water or how to avoid danger, a young elephant could easily become vulnerable in the vast savanna landscape. With each passing moment spent together in their journey, that awareness grew within him, an obligation to help guide this spirited creature back to safety. Mark's thoughts turned back to the matriarchs he had read about. Their strength and wisdom were essential for maintaining harmony within their family units. It dawned on him that perhaps he could provide a temporary semblance of that guidance during their shared adventure. He decided they would continue to search for signs of adult elephants nearby. Reassuringly communicating with the calf could foster trust while navigating together through this enchanting landscape. Further along their path, Mark spotted fresh tracks in the mud near a watering hole, a sure sign that other elephants had recently passed through. His heart raced at the thought. This could be an opportunity to reunite the calf with its family. He glanced back at his new companion trotting happily alongside him, its trunk swinging playfully, as if unaware of everything beyond this joyful moment. An idea sparked within him. What if he created some comforting sounds? Elephants communicate using low-frequency rumbles that humans sometimes can't hear but are crucial for connecting with one another over long distances. Mark started, humming softly to himself while keeping his tone light and encouraging, hoping that this would resonate with the calf and soothe any lingering anxiety about being alone. The little elephant paused for a moment at the sound, tilting its head curiously as if considering Mark's gentle tune, before continuing beside him again with renewed enthusiasm. Each little trumpet and playful flop of its ears made Mark smile wider. Perhaps they were making progress after all. As they ventured deeper into the savannah together in search of companionship, Mark couldn't shake off the feeling that this journey was about more than just two creatures crossing paths. It was about understanding empathy across species boundaries. This bond he forged with the calf reminded him of how interconnected every living being truly is within nature's embrace. Now fueled by purpose, not only capturing beautiful photographs, but also recognizing opportunities for connection. Mark drove onward into new territories, filled with hope for both himself and his newfound friend. Each moment spent on this journey allowed him to learn more about elephant families while embracing every delightful twist along the way, flagging not just adventures, but shared stories unfolding between man and elephant beneath Africa's vast sky. As Mark continued down the winding path, the sunlight began to soften, casting long shadows across the savannah. The rhythmic hum of the Jeep's engine seemed to blend seamlessly with the sounds of wildlife around them. The playful elephant calf trotted happily beside him, its ears flapping gently as it chased after yet another butterfly. Mark felt a surge of happiness for both himself and his small companion, thankful that they had shared so many joyful moments together. Suddenly, a loud rustle in the nearby bushes broke through the calm atmosphere, sending a jolt of tension through Mark. He halted the Jeep, eyes squinting in the direction of the sound. The calf paused beside him, trunk raised and ears perked as it mirrored his alertness. They both felt something was off. The playful energy that had marked their adventure shifted into a more serious tone. Before Mark could react, a massive figure burst forth from the underbrush, a large male elephant. Mark's heart raced as he instinctively grabbed the steering wheel tighter. The bull's presence was commanding. Its large tusks gleamed in the fading light, and its ears flared out like sails ready to catch wind. It stomped forward with an imposing presence, clearly disturbed by something. Perhaps an intruder in its territory or a protective instinct toward a calf. Mark quickly turned his gaze back to the small elephant at his side. The calf stood frozen, staring wide-eyed at this unexpected visitor. For a brief moment that felt like an eternity, time stood still as both animals assessed each other. One unwavering and powerful, and the other innocent and confused. Mark's instinct for safety kicked in. He knew that male elephants could be aggressive if they felt threatened or challenged, especially if they were protecting a nearby family. His focus now shifted between observing the large bull and ensuring the little calf remained safe beside him. He needed to create distance without startling either animal. "Hey there, buddy," he murmured softly to the calf while slowly reversing the Jeep. "Let's not anger him." The big elephant trumpeted loudly, shaking his head and stepping closer to Mark's vehicle as if trying to assert dominance. Mark's heart pounded harder in his chest. He was emboldened by concern for both himself and this young calf who had sought comfort and connection. In those tense moments of uncertainty, Mark glanced back at the calf only to find it trembling slightly. It still stood its ground, yet looked up at him, searching for reassurance, but showing signs of fear creeping into those innocent eyes. "Okay, little one," he said soothingly, trying to project calmness despite his rising anxiety. "It's going to be all right." The bull continued advancing toward them, powerful steps echoing through the quiet savanna. Adrenaline surged through Mark as he cautiously inched the jeep backward until there was enough space to make a quick escape if necessary. He didn't want to be too hasty for fear of alarming either creature further. Just then, another unexpected turn of fate occurred. The sound of rustling leaves drew his attention again as more elephants emerged from behind nearby bushes. A group of elephants appeared, mothers with their calves, trudging towards what seemed like a gathering spot near the watering hole they had seen earlier. "What? This is incredible," Mark exclaimed softly under his breath while trying to process this rapid development happening all at once. The bull elephant paused momentarily upon seeing other elephants approaching. Its demeanor shifted slightly as it hesitated. For just a few seconds, everything seemed suspended in time as families came together amid palpable tension filling the air. Mark bit his lip anxiously, while hoping that this reunion might help redirect the larger male's aggression away from them. To his relief, as soon as one of the mothers greeted the bull with gentle rumbles and touches of affection, while leading her own calves away from danger, it became clear that this protective dynamic worked beautifully within their familial structure. With focused intensity now upon them, the matriarch began working her way gracefully over toward them, while gesturing for all younger ones, including Mark's little friend, to follow her lead toward safety near other adult elephants. "Come on, you're going back home," encouraged Mark warmly but quietly, while watching this tender reunion unfold before him with awestruck admiration. The young calf finally took its first hesitant step forward toward its family group, alongside others who had been following closely behind. A wave of relief washed over Mark instantly. However, just when he thought everything was settling down smoothly, a sharp trumpet emitted from behind him, followed immediately by another aggressive charge. In an instant, realization. The bull perceived that he wasn't just protecting territory, but also asserting dominance over anyone lingering too close. With pulse racing, Mark quickly hit the gas pedal and maneuvered away deftly with instincts honed by experience through many past encounters built in over years spent traversing these roads. They dashed away safely from looming danger just seconds before getting too close to that imposing presence behind, while simultaneously feeling grateful for fortune guiding this adventure altogether. Cooperation shimmering among these mighty creatures, still playing such critical roles across each other's lives, surrounding them every day, as they distance themselves further from perceived threats spilling into sight. Mark recognized how fragile each moment within nature truly remains. A blend creating thrilling tensions where wild dynamics constantly dance beneath subtle connections, growing strong between beasts traversing vast landscapes together. This journey would leave lasting impressions shaped not solely by triumphs, yet also lessons learned, navigating challenging paths embraced right along with laughter shared amidst quirky friendships formed along their journey ahead. As the dust settled from the earlier chaos, Mark took a deep breath, his heart still racing from the encounter with the bull elephant. The playful calf had instinctively followed him through this tense moment. And now, as they moved away from danger, Mark glanced back at the little one, whose innocent eyes were wide with wonder, but tinged with uncertainty. They found themselves in a quieter part of the savanna, where tall grasses waved gently in the warm breeze, and the sun began to dip low on the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. Mark stopped the jeep, allowing himself a moment to reflect on everything that had just happened. He watched as the calf wandered a few steps ahead, curiously investigating a patch of wildflowers. Mark's thoughts turned inward as he pondered why this little elephant had chosen to follow him so steadfastly. It was more than just curiosity or the instinct to explore. There was something deeper at play. The calf had shown signs of loneliness, seeking companionship in a world that could be both beautiful and frightening. Suddenly, it struck him. This journey they shared wasn't just about him helping the calf find its family. It was also about the little elephant helping him rediscover a sense of purpose. In that moment of realization, tears pricked at the corners of his eyes. He understood that the bond they had formed went beyond mere chance. It was a connection rooted in vulnerability and trust. As he observed the calf sniffing flowers and playfully tossing them into the air with its trunk, Mark felt his heart swell with emotion. This little creature had chosen him as a companion during a time of uncertainty, a reflection of their shared experiences within this vast wilderness. "Hey there, little buddy," he called softly, his voice full of warmth. The calf turned its head toward him, ears flapping slightly in response, its big eyes sparkling with innocence and joy. "I think you've shown me something really special today." With each passing second, their bond grew stronger, anchored by unspoken understanding. Mark realized that he needed to embrace this moment fully, not just for himself, but for the calf too. It was about being present in this shared experience and recognizing the importance of connection in all forms. He decided then that they would continue seeking out signs of the calf's family together, but not in haste or anxiety. Instead, he wanted to approach it like an adventure filled with hope and wonder. Perhaps they could turn this pursuit into a journey where both of them could learn from one another as they traversed this incredible landscape. Feeling invigorated by his newfound perspective, Mark shifted the Jeep back into gear and started driving slowly again. The calf trotted happily beside him once more, its playful spirit radiating joy. They passed through patches of tall grass where butterflies danced around them like floating jewels, each fluttering creature echoing the carefree nature that defined their journey thus far. As they navigated deeper into the savannah, Mark couldn't help but think about how important it is for every creature, human or animal, to feel connected to others. In this vast world filled with challenges and uncertainties, those bonds provide comfort and strength when navigating life's obstacles. Suddenly, from afar, Mark spotted movement near a cluster of acacia trees. His heart raced again. Was it possible? Could it be? He slowed down to get a better look while scanning for any familiar shapes. The closer they got, the more hope bubbled inside him. The silhouettes began to take form, large bodies moving gracefully among the trees. "Oh, wow," Mark exclaimed softly as he recognized them. A herd of elephants. Relief washed over him as he quickly turned to the little calf beside him. "Look, your family is right up ahead." The calf perked up instantly at Mark's words, its ears standing rigidly alert as it gazed toward the trees. With a joyful trumpet, it bounded forward eagerly, its little legs moving quickly toward the gathering of elephants. Mark's heart soared, watching this reunion unfold before him. A delightful sight that filled him with warmth. As they approached closer, Mark observed how one particular matriarch stepped forward, her presence commanding yet nurturing. As she reached out her trunk toward the calf, it was a scene filled with love and care. A reunion that reaffirmed what he had come to understand throughout their time together. That connection is fundamental to survival. Mark felt honored to have been a part of this journey and even more grateful for the lessons learned along the way. It was moments like these that reminded him why he loved being out in nature. The beauty of relationships forged in unexpected circumstances. Standing still now beside his jeep as he watched them embrace one another, the young calf nestled against its mother, he realized how profoundly this experience would stay with him long after their paths diverged. He had discovered not only a connection with an incredible creature, but also insight into what truly mattered: love, companionship, and fostering bonds that transcend species. With a gentle smile on his face and gratitude swelling within him, he took one last look at the blossoming family before quietly driving away, knowing that while their adventure might have taken an unexpected turn, it had led him to something invaluable: an emotional discovery about life's simplest yet most profound truths found in nature's embrace. As Mark watched the calf joyfully reunite with its family, a profound sense of clarity washed over him. This journey was not just about his encounters with wildlife. It was about understanding and connecting with nature on a deeper level. The moment reminded him that every interaction in the wild carries significance, and how vital it is to respect the lives of the creatures around us. Reflecting on his experience, Mark realized that he had been given a valuable lesson on the importance of empathy within the animal kingdom. The bond he formed with the calf revealed how relationships, whether between humans or animals, rely on understanding and respecting each other's needs. In this instance, the calf had sought companionship and security from Mark at a time of uncertainty in its life, prompting him to recognize the vulnerabilities inherent in young animals, even those as magnificent as elephants. As he drove away from the family, Mark contemplated what had unfolded that day. His initial inclination was to document these incredible creatures through photographs, but instead, nature had guided him to make a connection that went beyond capturing mere images. He understood now that true appreciation for wildlife comes from engaging with it respectfully and mindfully, rather than treating it solely as subjects for observation. This realization deepened his appreciation for the cultural significance of elephants in their habitat. Elephants are known for their remarkable intelligence, strong family bonds, and social structures. Seeing how this calf thrived among its family highlighted the need for us to foster protective habits towards wildlife, ensuring they have safe environments where these natural connections can flourish unimpeded by human interference. Mark's heart swelled with admiration as he reflected on how elephants demonstrate compassion for one another, comforting distressed family members within their herd while teaching young calves vital survival skills. Each gentle rumble or playful display serves not only to bond them, but also to strengthen their collective identity as they navigate through life together. Recognizing such dynamics underscored a greater truth: all species deserve respect, care, and a right to thrive within their ecosystems. Driven by his experiences that day, Mark felt compelled to share these insights beyond his personal reflections. He envisioned how the stories of connection between humans and wildlife could inspire others to practice reverence for nature. There were countless people who might benefit from hearing the lessons learned on this journey. How empathy and respect yield not only profound experiences, but also responsible stewardship of the natural world. In the days that followed this incredible encounter in the savannah, Mark dedicated himself to advocating for wildlife conservation efforts. He began organizing community talks, sharing moments that illustrated the beauty of honest connection with the environment around them. Through his photography and storytelling, he hoped to ignite a sense of responsibility in others, an understanding that fostering relationships with wildlife comes with a duty to protect their habitats and lives against encroaching threats. As he highlighted the powerful emotional narratives behind each photograph, like his adventure with the elephant calf. Mark inspired people to see beyond just visuals. He encouraged them to recognize themselves within these narratives. It was crucial for individuals to understand their role in creating balance between human activity and wildlife presence in nature's intricate web. A reflection not only of our love for nature, but also an acknowledgement of its needs. Mark kept revisiting the memories shared with that spirited calf, the way it chased butterflies or curiously investigated flowers, and felt grateful for what he learned about patience, kindness, and compassion during those moments spent amidst breathtaking landscapes under vast skies filled with wonder. Each memory fueled his drive to protect these magnificent creatures so that future generations could experience their splendor in all its glory. Through Mark's advocacy work, stories like the one he shared would reach people far beyond those directly in contact with wild places. His hope was that they would resonate with listeners everywhere, from children inspired by tales of adventure to adults encouraged to take action for conservation efforts. In doing this, Mark aimed to create wider awareness around respecting wildlife, an essential aspect behind empowering communities toward supporting conservation causes dear to them. This realization became one of many watershed moments shaping both Mark and his enduring connection with nature. An invitation not merely observing life's wonders, but celebrating them through heartfelt actions, fostering respect, aligning both human hearts and wild souls along shared pathways illuminated by empathy's gentle light. As the sun set over the African savanna, casting a warm glow across the landscape, Mark felt reverberations of emotion resonating within him. This adventure had been about more than just wildlife photography. It had transformed into a heartfelt journey of connection that would forever shape his understanding and appreciation for nature. Watching the elephant calf reunited with its family reminded him of the intrinsic value of relationships. How they form not only between humans, but also among all living beings. Mark reflected on how significantly this experience impacted him. The innocent joy of the calf chasing butterflies, its playful antics, and its emotional need for companionship opened his eyes to the vulnerabilities that exist in nature. It taught him that every encounter with wildlife carries meaning and responsibility, reminding him that nature is not just a backdrop for stunning photographs, but a vibrant tapestry woven with emotions, instincts, and connections. He thought about how easy it can be to overlook the needs of wildlife while caught up in our human lives. The day's events had illuminated his understanding that respecting animals means recognizing their feelings and familial bonds. Elephants are creatures of empathy, nurturing those around them. Witnessing their dynamic reinforced that all species deserve compassion and protection. As he drove away from the herd, Mark felt an overwhelming desire to advocate for these magnificent creatures and their habitats. He understood now more than ever that sharing this experience with others could bridge gaps in understanding and encourage people to foster respect for wildlife. His heart ignited with passion as he envisioned future conversations about conservation efforts, sharing stories like his own to inspire awareness, change, and responsibility. In the days following his adventure, Mark dedicated himself to planning community outreach events where he could bring together people from all walks of life. He organized talks at local schools and community centers focusing on wildlife conservation significance, while using storytelling as a tool to create emotional connections with nature. Through captivating photographs capturing intimate moments between animals in the wild, he hoped to evoke empathy in listeners. Each image served as a reminder that humans share this planet with remarkable creatures deserving care. He found joy in sharing the story of the little elephant calf, the way it had chased after his jeep filled with youthful exuberance and longing for connection, illustrating how moments like these should inspire humanity to create positive change. In one session after another, as children listened raptly or adults nodded knowingly at tales of adventure amidst elephants roaming freely under vast skies. Mark felt a sense of purpose fueling his drive forward. Through his advocacy work, he encouraged communities to reconnect with nature not only as observers, but as stewards tasked with preserving ecosystems for future generations. By emphasizing respect for wildlife's needs through education and shared experiences, he hoped to instill values promoting coexistence rather than separation from nature. As time passed since that unforgettable day on the savannah, Mark continued revisiting memories shared with the calf, the way it explored its surroundings or sought comfort during moments of uncertainty, reminded him why these connections matter most in life. Each recollection propelled him forward, a reminder of how intertwined human existence is with every creature we encounter along our journey. Ultimately, what grew from this emotional journey became something incredibly inspiring. Understanding that fostering connections goes both ways. Just as he had nurtured a bond with an elephant calf seeking safety amidst an uncertain world, they too had offered him lessons in patience, kindness, and compassion along their adventure through Africa's wilds. With renewed vigor, driving his mission towards savoring life's wonders rather than merely observing them from afar. Mark realized connecting deeply is essential, whether through shared laughter or heartfelt action, aimed at ensuring wildlife gets protected so everyone can enjoy witnessing beauty thriving alongside humanity amid breathtaking landscapes. As he looked out at future horizons, filled now not only by personal aspirations, but also collective goals focusing on conservation efforts, Mark couldn't help but feel excitement bubbling within him again. Adventures awaited. Each twist ahead promised new opportunities where hearts aligned beneath nature's gentle light, illuminating pathways filled with empathy, extending beyond boundaries, uniting both man and animal alike throughout this extraordinary journey called life.